G'day from the West, Lucas here, and welcome back to another Footy West video. Now, today we're doing something a bit different. I've got a tier maker up in front of me, and I'm going to be ranking the clubs about how much I like them and sort of how much I want them to win. I think that's a better way to put it. So we'll jump straight into things now. And so I've got the categories here, right? So I've got, this one will be for West Coast, obviously. I'll cheer if you win. That means like I like you a lot. Onya is like, yeah, okay, whatever. Sort of like middle road. And then hope you lose is like, yeah, I don't really like you. And FFS you won. That means I really don't like you. So let's have a look here. Obviously, we'll start with West Coast up here. They are my team, the blue and gold. Not too good at the moment, but hopefully it will improve soon. And I think I'm going to do like one in each category to sort of like work out where everyone's going to go. So I'll cheer if you win. I'm going to put the Giants there to start that. I really like the Giants. They're probably my second team. I think they're a lot of people's second team, to be honest. So really don't mind them. Hope they can do big things this year. Onya, who's sort of middle of the road? I'm trying to think here. I reckon I'll go with North Melbourne. I think I'm not unhappy if they win, but I wouldn't like jump up and down like I would maybe for the Giants if North won. But I hope they do big things sooner rather than later. So hope you lose. Let's see, who don't I really like? I'm gonna go with St Kilda here. I think something about the Saints doesn't appeal to me. I know they've done nothing really. Let's be honest, and it just bothers me that they're still there. I don't know if that's normal or not, but it gets on my nerves that they're just there and they can't do anything and they're taking up a spot in the competition. I don't like many Victorian clubs, so that's one way to put this, and most of the Victorian clubs will probably be in the bottom three categories there, probably most of them in the bottom two. And who do I despise? I'm going to put Essendon there. I really don't like them. I don't know what it is. I think their fans are a bit feral. But when I say, I'm probably going to say fans are feral a lot throughout this video, but when I say that, I don't speak for all of them. There are obviously bad fans in every fan base and good fans in every fan base, but I particularly find Essendon has quite a few bad fans, and they get on my nerves. This is based a lot on if teams get on my nerves or not, and Essendon get on my nerves when they win. It feels like every time they win, they're arrogant about it. I don't know if that's fair to say, but something about them just does not appeal to me. So I'm pretty upset if they win, to be honest. So we're left with these 13 clubs, and let's probably go through them from start to finish. Adelaide, I quite like them, and they've been down a while now. Haven't made finals obviously since 2017. Matthew Nick seems like he's finally taking them to the right place. So purely for the fact that they are non-Victorian, I'll put them in Onya. I don't mind if you win. For Adelaide there, I don't have too much of an opinion on them, to be honest. Brisbane, I'm a big fan of. I was rooting for them last year in the finals. In the grand final, I was picking them over Sydney, and I do like them. I do. I love Chris Fagan. I think he's a really good coach. I think he's sort of a good man, you know. He's not only a good coach, but a good person deep down as well. So that's important as well. And they've got some likable players. Love Lockie Neal. I love Cam Rayner as well. So I loved Joe Danaher. So that bumps them up a bit, I think. Carlton is interesting. I don't absolutely despise them, but I wouldn't congratulate them if they win. Do I not like them more than St Kilda? Probably. And you can barely see them on there as well. Look at that, gee. But Carlton, their fans are pretty wild. And they just annoy me as well. Maybe it's like the irrelevance, or not the irrelevance. They're a big club. But Carlton, they've got a few players. I mean, I like Paddy Cripps, but everyone else, I mean, I don't know. It's just something about Carlton that turns me off them. And yeah. Collingwood. Now, if you asked me Collingwood 5 years ago, I would have put them in the bottom category here. But when Craig McRae took over and they started becoming these underdogs, come from behind wins, I sort of found myself rooting for them a couple of times, which is very, very strange. So I think, although lately they've been getting on my nerves again, I think Craig McRae's sort of gone down within my thoughts. So I'm going to go hope you lose as well. They're a bit sort of, I don't know. I don't know with Collingwood. I don't have much to say except, They're obviously a big Victorian club, and so I'm, again, as a West Coast fan, as a West Aussie, I always like to see the non-Victorian clubs sort of doing better than the Victorian ones. So that probably brings them down a bit, especially because they're a big Victorian club. But at the same time, I'm not going to go absolutely crazy if they win. I'm not going to go absolutely wild. But I wouldn't, in most games, I probably wouldn't root for a Collingwood win. They've got a few pretty crazy fans out there, but again, some good fans as well. So Collingwood, I'll put them in hope you lose, and there might be a bit of reshuffling later on. Now, Freo, if you ask me on Derby Day, it'll be bottom category. But again, I don't know if I can put them in Onya because they're our biggest rivals, really. But I wouldn't say I hope they lose every time they play. I don't hope they lose every time they play. So I'm going to put it at the end. I'm going to put them at the end of Onya. So they're just like, yeah, okay, congrats, you won. But and that's a big call probably coming from a West Coast fan, because a lot of West Coast fans absolutely despise Fremantle with their living being. But I don't mind them. I mean, they're the other West Australian team. You want to see West Australian footy doing well. So I don't actually mind the Dockers, except for the Derby weeks and the Derby days. That's a different story. But yeah, no, Freo are alright, I reckon. Gold Coast Suns. They're... Okay, This
is being filmed after we lost to Gold Coast, so there is probably a bit of anger still within me.
But Gold Coast... Here's my opinion of Gold Coast. I personally believe that they are the AFL's pet. They are the AFL experiment that hasn't worked yet, so the league headquarters are trying everything they can to get them into finals to be a powerhouse. And that gets on my nerves, because where is the help for all these other clubs that go down or that are brought in? Like the help that West Coast and Freo sort of got. I don't actually know too much about that, to be fair. But you see nowadays, Gold Coast have had so much help from them, and I think the umpires...
I don't want to be that person.
But the umpires seem to always be on the Gold Coast side. So, in saying that, I don't like the Suns too much. I know, and it's weird, again, because they're quite irrelevant in terms of the fact that they're not a big club at all. I think they're the lowest membership count in the league. So it's weird how I have some hatred for, like, St Kilda and Gold Coast when they are sort of minute clubs, but it's how I feel about the Gold Coast. I think they're the AFL's pet, and I don't like that. But we move on. We go to Geelong, and Geelong are probably on the near same category as Essendon. I think I like them a bit better than Essendon, but with Geelong, it's a credit to them. This is not a takedown of Geelong. I just really despise them because they are so good. I despise them because they've been up there for so long. I despise them because they're consistently good, and it makes me rage every time they make it to a preliminary final. So every game I'm sort of rooting for them to finally have a downfall, finally come down, which is probably a bit mean, to be honest, but I just want to see a couple of years in a row at least where they're down sort of in the middle at the bottom, because they've just been up for so long, and it makes you hate them. But Geelong, I mean, they're a benchmark of the competition, but I really...
It's probably a jealousy thing, to be honest.
I think that's what it is. I just wish my club was like Geelong. But nevertheless, I do not find myself ever really rooting for them. And we move to Hawthorn now. And if you ask me, similar to Collingwood 5 years ago, or opposite to Collingwood, I would have said Hawthorn were like right up here, I'll cheer if you win. And probably towards last year, I would have still said that, but the hype is crazy. And it's probably warranted. It's probably, like, they probably deserve the hype, but it gets on my nerves now. The glaze is starting to get on my nerves. The Hawthorn glaze. So, I used to cheer if you win. I used to be happy if you won. I'll put them towards the end of hope you lose. I don't always hope you lose. Or did I put that there. I can't remember what I did. I think this is the top of the category. So you're nearly in Onya. You're nearly in Onya, Hawthorn. I do admire what they've done and how they've turned it around so quickly. Very impressive. Sam Mitchell is a very impressive coach. I think he's going to be a multiple time premiership coach for the Hawks. So that's going to be a bit scary, and I do admire what they've done. I hope West Coast can eventually become like that, but it's sort of becoming a bit overbearing now. But they're not the worst club. I don't mind them. Melbourne, they're another one that I really don't like. With Melbourne, particularly after they won the Premiership Cup, I felt they had a lot of arrogance about them. I found them a very arrogant club. Their fans were all right, though. I don't mind their fans. But I just found the club, like as a club internally, I found that there was a bit of arrogance seeping in to that club within them. And I found myself constantly preying on a downfall, which sort of happened last year. And then I sort of felt a bit bad. And I was like, no, you've probably brought that upon yourself. So I'm going to put them here. I'm going to put them in the bottom. Probably like them more than Geelong and Essendon. But yeah, I just find them a bit of an arrogant club. I think they're getting better now, to be honest. But yeah, that one's a bit probably left of field. Port Adelaide, I don't like them. They're a bit similar to Melbourne, though, but they're probably just up here. They just make their way up into hope you lose. But I find them arrogant too. They constantly do well in home and away. They constantly make finals, and it all just falls short during the final series during September. And their fans, man, these guys, I haven't seen many decent Port Adelaide fans. I've seen a couple, but most of them are crazy, man. Yeah, they got on my nerves as well, and I don't often find myself rooting for them. This tier maker is probably slightly different to how much I like them. No, it's probably very similar. Richmond, if you asked me 5 years ago, sort of 10 years ago even now, with that flag is coming upon 10-year anniversary. But if you asked me then, I would have preyed on their downfall. But now I'm cheering if they win. I am cheering if they win. I was rooting so hard for them against Carlton. And I love the young guns that they've brought in. Maybe they cut slightly too deep, but I do admire the bold moves. Maybe they could have kept one or two of those guys that they lost at the end of last year around. But mind you, in saying that, the leaders that they have there now, the veterans that they have there now, stood up really well last round against Carlton, and I really admired it. And I was rooting for them to get over the line and for Carlton to choke, and they did. So I'm on the Richmond pedestal now. I'm on their train. I hope they can go on and do bigger, better things. But this list is sort of constantly changing, you know. Like when teams are good, I often find myself rooting for them less. I'm a guy who loves an underdog to come through, so I hope those things happen. Sydney are interesting. I'm going to put them in hope you lose. I'll probably reshuffle it after I finish doing this one with the Bulldogs here. But Sydney, obviously there's a big rivalry, 05-06 there. So that's a clear indication. Can't go any in top 2, top 3. But that was before my time. I mean, I wasn't alive then, unfortunately. But yeah. No, I'll go with hope you lose. They were a bit similar. I just haven't found them very appealing to me. I think they're a bit I found them a bit thuggy for some reason. I don't know if that's just me. I just found like they were constantly picking fights on the field. But they're a bit similar to Geelong as well. They've been good for a long time under John Longmire. New coach now, Dean Cox. But that was something that just popped into my head. I constantly found them a bit thuggish. I don't know why, to be honest, but I never found myself cheering for them. And the Dogs, I quite like the Dogs. I'll cheer if they win. I've been a fan of the Dogs ever since I was a footy fan. And 2016 was a brilliant day. I really loved them. I love the underdog run that they made from 7th, so that was really nice. Yeah, I'm a fan of their players. I love the Bont. I'm a big fan of Norton. I think he'll be really good. I loved Jamara Ugle-Hagan, and I really hope he can get back on the park soon and get himself sorted together, because I was a really big fan of his But I hope the Dogs can continue to sort of push for a premiership soon. Sort of maybe another one before Luke Beveridge goes. I'm not too sure. I like their fans. Their fans are pretty sane by the standards of, say, Collingwood, Carlton, Essendon. So I don't mind the Bulldogs. I really do like them. So this is the final list that we've got. Maybe I need to shuffle some of these guys around. Maybe I need to put a couple of these into Onya. Do these guys... Oh, probably Sydney needs to go down this end, actually. No. Oh, yeah. Sydney needs to go down this end. But who do I move into Onya? I'm not too sure. Yeah. Look, I'll put the Hawks up there. I mean, if you asked me last year while they were doing that magical underdog run, I would have gone to I'll cheer if you win. I'm still sort of rooting for them, but they've come a bit sort of annoying with all the hype. But like I said earlier, it's definitely warranted. They're a very good side. But that's the final list that I have gone with. I don't know if you can see it. Oops, I don't know if you can see it sort of with the face cam there. But I've sort of moved my face cam now. That's the full list there. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Who would you have up, down as your personal thoughts? But yeah, that is it for today. Let me know if you guys like these sorts of videos. I might do a couple more, just something a bit different from the channel. But if you enjoyed, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a thing. And yeah, let me know who you guys are always rooting for, who you guys hope you never win, and I'll see what you guys have to say. But yeah, that's all for today, and I hope to see you again back soon on Footy West.